3, 2, 1. Hey guys, welcome back. JP Raleigh here, ladies and gentlemen. It is February 27th, and I have missed a lot of things. I've had some technical difficulties over the last couple days with either my phone or my camera or both, and I actually left my camera somewhere. So first things first, I apologize since you haven't seen me in a while. Secondly, there are a lot of things that I have missed. Number one, I did win my Twilight Cup Tournament. I will try and get that video. Like I said, I'm having some technical difficulties with the recording. I do have screen recording. We'll see what I can use. Obviously, my tournament went really well for me, and I did have a strategy going in. A lot of people didn't have a strategy. They just wanted to bring the closest they had to 1500 from what I could tell, and a lot of people overdid it with poison types. So my strategy was to try and get my opponent to not bring a Toxicroak. So since poison was so heavy in my group, I knew that a lot of people would A, be afraid of the Toxicroak, or B, bring in a Toxicroak to battle all the poison types. So I thought if they had practiced so much with the Toxicroak, if I brought 4 counters to Toxicroak, they would have to change their strategy and I would have the upper hand, which in 3 of my 4 rounds was 100% accurate. They didn't know what was going on in my last round. He knew exactly what was going on, but I got some luck. The other thing I wanted to try was trying out that new stat buff or bonuses, which actually worked, and hopefully I can show you guys the video. Here's some of the footage. I did use the Venomoth Silverwind to see if it would get a stat bonus, and it did. Alright guys, hopefully you can hear me over that car alarm. We are actually about to go into the Carytown Mall and do our tournament for the Twilight Cup. I don't believe I will be able to record too much inside the mall, but I do want to show you guys the 6 that I'm actually going to bring out. The ones you're going to probably see me the most with are going to be Toxicroak, Azumarill, and Venomoth. But my goal is to try and get them to not bring in their Toxicroak. So my other 3 are all Toxicroak counters. So we will see what they do, and we will see how many people show up. We'll catch you guys inside. Alright guys, so the screen recording on this didn't work. I don't know if I didn't push the button or I just had more technical difficulties. So I'm just going to do a little bit of a voiceover for this. This is me going up against the guy who has won our area's last 2 tournaments. So I'm a little bit nervous. I start off with Azumarill because I know he's a tank. He throws in an Alolan Muck. Obviously I know it's not a great matchup, so I go ahead and try and get the switch off. It doesn't work, so I try and power up and get a little bit more boost, as I know that his move is pretty slow, trying to get that Toxicroak in and get that Mud Bomb off. He does get a poison move off very quickly, so I'm going to go ahead and block against that, not remembering that obviously it's not going to do a lot of damage versus Toxicroak. So I go ahead and get that Mud Bomb off. That's going to be pretty brutal if he doesn't shield. We do run into a little bit of lag here. He does block. That would have been super effective. So I'm going to keep on going for it, and he switches into a Golbat. I've already powered up the Mud Bomb and already clicked it, so I go ahead and send that off, knowing it's not going to do a lot of damage. And then I'm debating whether or not to go for a second switch here against the Golbat, but I just decide, let's power through with the poison type, see if I can draw out another shield on him, and keep the Toxicroak alive. Golbat is a pretty good counter for Toxicroak, but I know with shields it's about an even match at this point. So I'm going to let him go ahead and take the Toxicroak here. Doesn't quite, yep it does. So I'm going to go ahead and bring out a Venomoth. I wanted to play around with seeing if that stat bonus would work, or if he would actually bring in a Toxicroak into this battle, just to kind of see what would happen. Obviously, if he had brought in a Toxicroak, it would have been a quick, 5 hits and done. I do get the Silverwind off against the Azumarill. It doesn't do the stat bonus. Try and power up another one. I go ahead and shield. No damage taken there. I try and get off the switch, it doesn't work. Try and get off switch again, it doesn't work. Finally, Azumarill comes in, and basically it's a mirror image at this point, so I know unless he has a special moveset, I'm pretty much fine. I accidentally get off the ice move, very upset about that. Play rough is much better versus a mirror image. So now we're just lagging again, which we've ran into a whole bunch in this first matchup. I ended up lagging out, or he ended up lagging out twice. I know Azumarill versus Azumarill, I'm just out trying to outlast him at this point, but I want to get that play rough off. Here comes back the Alolan Muck, and obviously he's going to do a lot of damage against my Azumarill if I don't shield, and somehow I survive this attack just barely, and actually can get back in with my Venomoth and immediately somehow win by the skin. Alright guys, and here we go. We're going up against the Collector. We start off with a mirror image. I'm always going to use Play Rough when it's Azumarill versus Azumarill. He hits me with a Hydro Pump. I got a little confused by that. Then he brings out a Poison type. Obviously I'm going to bring out Toxicroak and just spam that Mud Shot and try and get, or Mud Bomb, try and get him out of there. Brings back Azumarill, knocks out obviously my Toxicroak. I hit him with a Silver Wind. This is the first time that my defense rose. I don't know if you guys saw that, but that's definitely going to come into play later. In the second matchup, I didn't really change the order. He is going to definitely change one of his Pokemon. He brings out a regular Muck, which completely throws me off. I got a Azumarill in there. I know that my Toxicroak is a counter to anything poison. So I try and stay in as long as possible, which might have been my downfall. I didn't get the switch off that I really wanted, and therefore I had to sink into my Azumarill a little bit further than I wanted to. His Skuntank takes him out. In comes Venus Venomoth, and unfortunately he has a Flamethrower. So in the third matchup, I changed the order thinking, okay, should I bring in the Skuntank? But I know that he's shown me two different poison types, so I'm going to lead with Toxicroak and see what happens. Toxicroak versus Skuntank. I know this is an automatic win. I don't even have to shield. I'm just going to go crazy on it. He brings in an Azumarill, hoping to get those Ice Beams off. I shield twice and get off Sludge Bomb. I bring in the Venomoth. Scared, I get a quick switch, which works out in my favor. Obviously, Skuntank's going to take forever to take down Azumarill. And as you can see, Azumarill is just staying in there long enough for the Muck, and the Muck's Thunder Punch just doesn't do enough to it, and we go ahead and get the second victory. I was so excited at this point. Alright, we are going up against Wolf Bananas, and he brings out the Tentacruel. It's the first time I've seen it. I'm pretty terrified of its Sludge Wave, and therefore I'm glad I got that guy out of there. Bring in a Toxicroak and knock him out quick. Luckily, he doesn't have a lot of great counters for Toxicroak, so I just go ahead and hit this poison move off. He burned through his shields very quickly, so I know at this point I can pretty much just go ham. Ice Beam does do some damage, but we're going to knock out that guy. We're going to do pretty good damage against Umbreon with that, and then we're just going to bring in the tank as a Azumarill. Luckily, he has a Fairy move, which Dark types don't stand a chance against. The first battle went flawlessly perfect. We're going to go right into the second battle. Like I said, the Tentacruel kind of gave me the knowledge I needed for my last battle. I'm going to switch up the order a little bit and bring in my Azumarill first. So he does bring that Toxicroak. He doesn't. He does switch quickly to the Tentacruel. Of course, I'm going to get out of there as fast as possible against that Sludge Wave. Hit him with a couple Mud Bombs. He's going to eat up his shields very quickly. We're going to hit him with another Mud Bomb, taking out the Tentacruel. Now I'm thinking, what do I need to bring against a Niddo? I can't even remember. So we just hit him with some Ice Beam, and super effective. That lucked out. Now we're in a mirror image. I've got almost nothing left, but luckily I have a second shield and a second Pokemon, which I'm actually probably not even going to need. Nope, just barely. Venomoth comes in and finishes it off. So we win 2 in a row. Yeah! All right, guys, we are going into the final tournament against Matt. We're going to see a lot of things in this matchup that we haven't seen before. So I'm going to do this one a little bit slower, just so you guys can see exactly what went down. I'm going to say that all of these battles could have gone literally either direction based on what happened. Sometimes there's going to be some really interesting things, but I'm going to lead always with Zoomeril just to see what he comes out with. It was a hard-fought battle, and here we go. So Azumarill versus Quillfish. I know as long as Quillfish doesn't have a poison moveset, we're okay. So I go ahead and block the first one to find out. He has Aqua Tail. I'm like, sweet, I'm good to go. Don't need to block. And he hits me with a Sludge Wave and destroys me. So bring out the Toxicroak, see what else he's bringing in. A Ghost type, which I didn't have any dark moves in this group, so I was a little upset with. I hit him with a Mud Bomb to try and get rid of those last two shields. And here we just trade off second Pokemon. I'm thinking he brings in Toxicroaks. He doesn't. He brings in a Skuntank. Hey, look at that. We got the Defense Rose again, and that gave us the win. Also, he didn't have Flamethrower, which would have been obviously very destructive. So for the next battle, I'm going to change and see if I can't get that Silver Wind to get that Defense Rose. And it happened again. But unfortunately, we lagged and had problems, so we had to restart the match. So I'm going to come in with the same matchup again and see if I can't get that Defense Rose again. And unfortunately, you will see that I don't get it. I don't know what the matchup versus a Quillfish is. He brings in an Azumarill. Very quickly a switch. I bring in a Toxicroaks. Don't realize he has Ice Beam, and then honestly forgot to shield here. Should have hit him with one poison move to knock him down, but of course he has a shield. So I'm going to bring out a mirror match and just hope that his third Pokemon is Toxicroak. Play Rough obviously is going to knock out the other Azumarill. He's got one shield left, as do I. He brings back the Quillfish. I don't even know what to use against him. So he hits me with an Aqua Tail. And I'm thinking I probably should use the Ice Beam, but I haven't to this point. It's not very effective. Ugh. He hits me with another Aqua Tail, and then we have a Venomoth versus Frostlass. And I know I'm done for. I have no chance, and it's going to be game over as soon as he hits me with an Ice move. So, now knowing that he has a Ghost type and he has Sludge Wave, I'm going to bring in Skuntank and hit him with the dark moves, and hopefully he'll just bring that Ghost type again, and we'll be able to destroy it. So Azumarill, Quillfish again. I've learned he has a poison move on it, so I'm going to switch out for the Skuntank and block immediately. And that just pretty much obliterates. Didn't get a second shield out, but it's okay because he brings in Frostlass, which is Ghost type, and I'm just going to wreck through that Ghost type very quickly. He does use and save his shields very well, I will say. So he goes ahead and uses one there. I'm going to bring in the Mirror. Nope, I'm going to bring in Toxicroaks for some reason. He hits me with an Ice Beam. I should have brought in the Mirror there. Obviously, it's going to come down to that one last shield. And I do realize that even an Azumarill versus an Azumarill with one shield, I'm going to win. I'm super excited. I'm already kind of celebrating. And I was like, forgot about that shield and was like, what? It was way closer than I thought it was going to be. But we did pull out the win, and that is the tournament. I won the whole Twilight Cup. What? Yes, I did win the tournament. There wasn't anything crazy to win, like money or anything like that, but that's not what I was interested in. I just wanted to straight out show off that I could have the skills to win. The first tournament, I got 6th. This tournament, I won. So we will see what happens in the next one. Hopefully I can get it. So, catch everything.